On the podcast today, I'm going to talk about the new growth strategy we're implementing for my new SaaS, Vubli, and also some of the results that we're getting. We got 16,000 views in the last 6 days, starting from scratch. Well, not totally from scratch, but you'll see what I mean in a second. So last week, I had my very first video podcast, and I was just so thrilled with it because it's been such a long time since I've really done content in a way that it felt easy, it felt natural, and it felt like I could really add value to my audience as well. That video now has had a good number of views, not a lot, but it's allowed me to create a lot more other content, which I'll share with you in a second, that fits in with my overall growth strategy for my new startup called Vubli.ai. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's software that allows you to post your short form video content to all the major social media sites like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, and X. Those 6 platforms at the moment. You just upload your video and then it creates all the meta content for you using AI. And then you press one button and it posts it everywhere. It works really well. So I've been using it for myself as well as part of this growth strategy. And I'm going to share with you some of the results that I'm getting so far in my first 6 days into it. So I'm really excited about this. So this all started when I wanted to shift gears for our startup. So for quite a while, I was building. And I was kind of like in founder mode, I guess you could call it. And I didn't have, as part of my founder mode, growth mode. And I think that's really easy to miss if you're running a startup, whether you're new or not. Like, I've been doing business now for 18 years. And so this is not my very first go at this. I've had software startups before. This is unique in the sense that I'm running it 100% by myself with a team of developers. But what I mean is, so I'm not alone, but I don't have a co-founder. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm working directly with our developers and I'm managing everything directly myself. And it's amazing. I'm having a ball. But where I did drop the ball with Vubli was with growth. I got so focused on the development side of things and working with my developers, which I really enjoyed. It's very creative, right? You come up with an idea, draw it out, get it implemented, and get the result back. And there's that feedback loop that is very satisfying. It's very rewarding because it's almost like creating in real time. I love it. When it comes to marketing stuff, oftentimes the effort you put in today, you only see the results of it weeks or months later. So it's not a direct feedback loop. So it's not as rewarding at first. So naturally, I was doing more of the creative stuff and I was neglecting the growth stuff, the marketing stuff. So more recently, I was like really getting down to the nitty-gritty. And there were 2 things that helped me a lot. The first thing that helped me a lot was a video from Nathan Barry's podcast, which is also a video podcast, but he's also running it as an audio podcast, right? So there's a bit of a trend there, guys. If you're watching this and you don't have a video podcast, I think it's worth looking into. But anyway, I was watching a video from Nathan. Let me show you the video that I was watching. So this is his channel here on YouTube. It's if you just search for the Nathan Barry Show on YouTube, you'll find it. And if you scroll down a bit here, you'll see this video here. This is build a 25K per month software business, full strategy. This video here, I watched that and it was an incredible video because Nathan went into detail with the person that was interviewing for how he actually built Kit, or used to be known as ConvertKit. And he took it from, well, he said, I think it took him 2 years to get to like 2,000 a month MRR. And then when he started implementing the strategy, he went from 2,000 MRR to 100,000 MRR, something like that. I'm not sure if those numbers are, I think it was 1,000 or 2,000 a month. But anyway, it was a significant, like an orders of magnitude change in results. And I loved it. I loved the way that the interview was held and the information that he shared with the lady that he interviewed. Sorry, I've forgotten her name. And just an incredible interview. But it lacked something for me. Obviously, you can't cover everything in just an hour-long type of interview. But the strategy was complete in terms of the steps or the overall components of the strategy, which was complete. But there were some detailed steps that was missing for me. And the detail for me was like, how do you find the people that you want to target? Because the strategy was essentially an outreach strategy. And Nathan was talking about how you find a specific group of people that you can actually contact. It's like contact. It's like an exhaustible list of people that you can contact, and that you can make a list from and go, this is all of them. I can contact all of them. That sort of a thing. But he didn't go into detail in the video for who these people should be, because there's so many different people that you could choose from, like niching down or whatever else. Like, how do you know which niche to choose? And then how do you find those people's contact details? Are there cool software that you can use? Is it a service that you use? How do you actually do this? How do you reach out to these people in the best possible way to get the best possible return rate from them as well? So I had a lot of questions. And so I kept on digging, and I couldn't really find any more answers on the channel. But then, I don't know how I got back into it, but I saw on my shelf this book from Alex Hormozi, $100 million leads. And I thought, maybe I'm actually more ready for this book now, because I read this book when it came out first, I don't know, a year ago or whatever. And it was great, but I wasn't quite ready for it. I was still busy in building mode with Vubli. And when I read this again, I was going, wow, this is actually really, really good if you're ready for it. I think that's the thing with books and knowledge and information, that when the student is ready, the master appears, or something like that, right? So I picked up this book again and read it from cover to cover. I got the audio as he recommended. I listened to the audio while I was reading it. That's a really great tip, by the way, to just boost your ability to read books faster and to assimilate that information. Really great tip from Alex. I loved it. Anyway, I just love this book. So you can see I made lots of little placeholders here for ideas and things. And it basically laid out the missing piece for me, looking at what Nathan taught for his strategy, but then filling in the gaps with the tactics for how to actually get people to contact and reach out to them. Like, what is that process? So it's all laid out in the $100 million leads. So in his book, Alex talks about the 4 areas or 4 kind of activities that you got to do to be able to grow your business. And here they are. So there's warm outreach, cold outreach, content, and you basically run ads. And that's basically it. I've modified it a little bit for myself to make it happen. But that's essentially the strategy. So you basically do warm outreach first, and you basically just make a big list of everybody that you know, all your contacts that you've ever had. And it's so cool because it talks about how you can very easily find 1,000 people. And he challenges you. It's like, see if you can reach out to 100 people a day. I haven't been able to reach that yet, but I tried. And it was really amazing when I started. I did about 20 a day or so. The activity that I got back and the attention that I got back for what I'm doing, and not just the attention, but also the ideas that I started getting from people, because I started getting on calls with people, and it's been really invaluable already. And I'm only just scratching the surface. I'm still figuring out all my systems, but I'm getting there. Then the other thing is cold outreach, essentially where you then figure out, who you want to talk to, and then, send them emails essentially. Or there's many different ways of contacting people, and Alex covers it. But essentially emails, find the email them. But then there's content and there's ads as well. So I've been doing 3 of those so far. And I've added an extra one to, for my list, which is sort of a subsection of the warm and cold outreach. And it's working really well so far. Okay, so I can't retire just yet, but I'm only really just a week or 2 into it. Last week I started with the podcast, with the content stuff. And about a week before that, I started with the warm outreach and a little bit of cold outreach. So I'm still very, very early in the process. So I'll try and keep on reporting back to let you know how it all goes. But I just want to share some of the results already. So with the warm outreach, I've only really done warm outreach. It's been really interesting. Actually, before I do, let me show you the system that I've got set up. And if you're listening to this on audio, I think it's worth coming back to YouTube, searching for my name, Gideon Shalwick, and just seeing the system, because a lot of this nitty-gritty doesn't get covered inside the books or the interviews or whatever. And I wanted to make it really practical. It's been really useful for me. So I'm going to share my screen here. So we use Todoist for managing everything, all our tasks and everything. It's brilliant software. And so let me share my screen here. So this is Todoist, and I'm blurring out the names of people, but I want to just show you the process. So I've got warm outreach here on the left, cold outreach. Now partner outreach is the new one that I've added myself, and then content as well. And there's an ads one here that I could add as well. We're going to do ads a bit later. I think the process for us is to do the warm and cold outreach first and the content, get feedback from people, get an understanding of what people truly want, and then use that information to run the ads. Like, we don't want to do the ads first. In fact, we made that mistake within we got a grant, the government grant here in Australia, got like $100,000. So the first 50,000, or the first 6 months, we started running ads. And I think we were too early. We should have done this warm and cold outreach first to get that knowledge information first, that intel, and then run all the ads. So we've actually put our ads on hold to do the warm and cold outreach and content first. And then from there, we can then, do the rest and get ads that are much more effective. Anyway, so that's a process. So warm outreach for me, I've broken it down into like a process here. We've got some templates we use for our emails, but then the first real list is the identified list. So this is where, we list all the people that we can contact, people that we have their contact details. So we put their name in there and the email, and it's a list. It's like a to-do list for me to go through and contact these people. Then basically the next few columns are really just to track the progress. So for example, this outreached one column is like, this is when I've sent the first message to the person, and then I can list them all there, and it creates a bit of a track record, and I can move these people through these processes. And then, if they don't follow up or if they don't reply, I can contact them again and move them to the followed up list through there, and just go through it. And there's a followed up to once, a follow up twice, and then I kind of, give up. I don't follow up anymore. But then if they get into discussions, you can see there's a whole bunch of people in discussion here at the moment. This is really cool because in discussion can mean I'm chatting to them on Messenger or in email. They've actually replied and I'm talking to them, right? And then the next goal is to get them scheduled onto a call. So that's the next thing. So they're scheduled. Sometimes they might convert into an actual customer, and then I might get them onto an onboarding call. And then I might set them up with a trial. And if they converted, put them in there. If not ready yet, put them in there. And then there's probably a bunch of no thanks ones as well. People that just not ready to convert just yet. And as you can see, I've got a bunch of people in here, but it's not 100 a day. So I'm still working on that. But then for cold outreach, it's pretty much the same process. I've got my templates here listed. Then identified, outreached 1, followed up 2. Then for cold outreach, it's a very similar process. I've got my templates there, then my identified list, then the outreached 1 column, the followed up 1 column, followed up 2 column. In discussions, they've agreed to a meeting, I've scheduled the meeting. There's an onboarding call if they convert, list of people that's converted and not ready or no thanks. So those are my columns that I'm using to push people through the system. And then I haven't done this yet, but the next thing I'm going to be doing is to partner outreach as well. So people that can actually promote for us. So that's a very highly leveraged activity. I want to do the warm and cold outreach first to get a better feel for the market and to get product market fit a bit more before we start scaling things. And I think that's really important to get product market fit before you scale. Otherwise you scale something that's not really scalable and your conversion rates are just not going to be very good. So next is going to be, once we get a few more people on this outreach, we'll do partner outreach. And it's a similar process. I think the columns are pretty much the same, very, very similar. And then the other thing that I'm really excited about is the content. And so just last week, I started getting into it about 6 days ago from today. And I had my first video podcast. And that's been really, really exciting. So I got like 16,000 views on my videos just in the last 6 days. And I was blown away by that. So I didn't fully start from scratch. I did post on my personal profiles. So there's already a bit of an audience there for them. But completely cold. Like I haven't been posting on my personal profile for a long time. And so the audiences there have been very, very cold. But still, there is somewhat of an audience there. So I just posted the long form video. And then I used a strategy that I learned from actually one of the people that I talked to as part of my cold outreach. Let me introduce you to this lady. She's amazing. So her name is Kirsten. Share the screen. Kirsten Poborski. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Kirsten. But go check out her channel. She's just at Kirsten. Sorry, not Kirsten. Kristen. My apologies. Kristen. So Kristen Poborski. So Kristen, I jumped on a call with her. She is amazing. She's like all over it. Like she's smashing the AI stuff. And she's got a relatively small audience still on YouTube, but I think she's someone to watch because she's just really at the forefront of things, and she's just really an awesome person. I had a really good chat with her. Anyway, she gave me a really cool strategy. One of the things we talked about. What she does, and I won't reveal her whole strategy. She can share that with you if she wants to, if you contact her. But the idea is that you take your long form content, like the long form video podcast that I did last week, or the one that I'm doing now. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And then instead of chopping it up like everybody does, they record the long form video and then they take the long form video and chop that up into short form video that they then post. That's an okay strategy, but I don't actually think that's a great strategy because when you do that, the content is never specifically set up for short form, for the short form platform. The short form platforms are just so different. You've got to, I really believe now after doing this for, over a year or so, a year maybe longer, short form, just researching it, looking what's working, testing my own things, that the repurposed stuff is okay, but it's unlikely to do really well for you. You're much better off, if you can, to create individual videos. And those kind of videos can do a lot better. But the trouble is that it's so time consuming to create them and coming up with ideas. If you want to post 1 or 2 or 3 times a day, I'm posting 3 times a day at the moment. It's like, where do all the ideas come from? And it's just, it's a bit of a struggle. So this is where Kristen has an amazing idea. So she takes the long form video and she grabs the transcript from that, and then she feeds that into AI, whatever AI she's using. She's actually got a really advanced setup. I think she should create a video on that if she hasn't yet. Kristen, if you're watching this, you should create a video on that because I think it's really useful. I've got a very simplified version of it now. All I do is I take the transcript and I put it into ChatGPT, and then I ask ChatGPT to come up with, I think, 21 different ideas. Why 21? Because that allows me to post 3 times a day. So a week. So I have these long form videos once a week, and then I try and create 21 videos from each long form video. But I ask ChatGPT to come up with ideas for me from my transcript. So it comes up with ideas of content that I've already created. So I don't have to, it's not new stuff that ChatGPT comes up with. It's like based on my existing ideas, my existing knowledge and information. So I don't have to think about it. It's already in my head. That information is already in my head. So all ChatGPT is doing is analyzing my content, going, okay, you've already created content on this. Here's some topic ideas for you based on that you can create short form video on. Now from there you can do a lot more, and this is what Kristen does really well. She uses that then to actually create scripts as well in different formats and different styles. And she does a really good job with that. All I'm doing with mine is I'm saying, come up with the topic for me and the hook. That's all. That's all I want. That's all I need, because I actually really don't like reading from a teleprompter or doing it sentence by sentence, reading from a script or anything like that. I prefer just speaking from the cuff, but I do also understand the structure of your videos need to be really, really well thought out. For short form, like there's many different structures you can use, like AIDCA, for example: attention, interest, desire, conviction, action. That's a really good formula for creating short form. So, but the most important thing for short form that I've learned over the last few months is your hook. Your hook is like 80 to 90% of the success of your video. You get the hook wrong, then everything else fails. So I've gone down that path, like the 80-20 sort of path for short form creation. I don't like the script stuff, but I like I like AI giving me the ideas for the topics that's based on my existing content. And then also the hook, at least an idea for the hook that I can go, okay, that's a cool idea. And then I make it my own. I make all of it my own. It's hardly ever that at the moment for this now, that I would use it word for word. Because it doesn't always know how I want to say things, or it doesn't always know the audience that I'm speaking to, etc. So for me, I make it my own in a big way. And yeah, so I've been using that strategy. So the one long form video for the week, and then feed it through ChatGPT to give me the topics for short form, and then I create each short form video individually. So you might ask, okay, that sounds like a lot of work. And yes, it is. But the other thing I've done, and I might have a separate video on this, I've kind of been covering it in my short form in the last week, and I maybe covered it last week as well, but I might do a more detailed one if people want it. But I've got an extremely smooth setup now for recording video. I can literally go from idea to recording, like it's instant. It's like if everything is off, like if my computer is on, my camera's off, and I get an idea for a video, within 5 seconds I can be recording. So it's very, very quick. It's like everything is just ready to go, and I can just hit record the video, press stop, flick it through CapCut, or flick it off to my editor, and it's done. I've actually just hired a video editor as well. I edited the first few videos, got the system figured out, and now I've got an editor that edits those videos for me. So 3 of them a day, because it's just too much for me. It's like it's worth getting someone to help you with that. So each video is individual. Anyway, that system is working really well. Like I said, I've had over 16,000 views now. Most of them came from YouTube. Let me just figure out the stats here. I got a bunch of them from YouTube. I got almost 10,000 of the 16,000 from YouTube. So there's a bit of an unfair advantage there with YouTube, because I already had like 37,000 followers there that I've built up over the last, 15, 16, 17 years. So they're old subscribers, like they're not fresh. So in a way, I'm sort of starting from scratch again for my YouTube channel, but there is a little bit of momentum there, but it's been very, very neglected. So, but still, that's my best platform at the moment. When I ran a test for 3 months for just Vubli on all the Vubli channels, whereas this is on my personal branded channels, Gideon Shalwick channels. But when I did it for Vubli, it was completely from scratch. And interesting there, TikTok was our best performer. We smashed it. So starting from scratch, TikTok by far was the best. But this time around, TikTok got us almost 4,000 views. So TikTok is probably our number 2 platform. Let's see, yeah, TikTok is number 2. We've got almost 4,000 views there. And the third platform would be, interesting enough, this is LinkedIn. Okay, LinkedIn's a little bit weird because they don't give you the views. They just give you the impressions. We got like 1,300 impressions there. So probably less views, but still that showed up nicely. So I guess in that order, YouTube, TikTok, which is not a surprise, and then LinkedIn is a bit of a surprise. But I'm getting a lot of engagement on TikTok. Probably the most engagement I'm getting is on TikTok, and then second on YouTube, which is really, really interesting. Anyway, so it's only been 6 days, but already 16,000 views. I'm going to continue this and keep on reporting back here and letting you know. So what's really been interesting is like today I started getting people inquiring about Vubli and sales, because just overnight I had a video, because I haven't been promoting Vubli or anything, right? I've just been creating content. So last night I thought, I've got this video here where I talk about Vubli a little bit. Let me see, I'll post it. Anyway, this morning I've already got inquiries for it, and someone said they're going to upgrade, which is pretty cool, just from the content. So it's starting to work. Very, very promising. Anyway, that is what I'm doing at the moment. Brand new growth strategy. A lot of it is, the most things I've spent time on was warm outreach, and that's been incredible. Just speaking to people and finding out what they actually want, in terms of their process, like what is their workflow, and figuring out what are the actual pain points. Like, do they even want our product, and getting to the bottom of that. So that's been really, really useful. Once I run out of people there, I'm going to do a lot more cold outreach. I still got to figure out how the heck I'm going to do 100 people a day and do content. So I've already hired someone to do the editing for us for the content, but I'm still on the videos, so it still takes quite a bit of time. So, and then I've still got to run the business as well, like the work with the developers. Actually, I have someone else managing the development team now as well, so that's helping a bit too. So it frees me up. But I've really made this commitment to the core four, to do the warm outreach, the cold outreach, the content, and eventually we're going to be running ads as well. Anyway, this was my second episode so far for the Gideon Shalwick Show. If you've kept on watching until the end, congratulations. You're one of the few, and awesome to have you here. Please remember to leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you and love to interact with you, and tell someone else about it. Just tell one other person about it, because I'm going to be sharing more and more of what I'm doing here, what's working, what's not working, and I'm sure some of it at least will be helpful to you to help you grow your business too. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you inside my next video. Bye-bye.